Hello people, welcome to another edition of the TOD show. I am Adewale Abdul, your host, and I have on set with me today one of the big Rotarians in Nigeria. I have on set with me Adewale Abdul. Welcome, Rotarian Adewale Abdul. Can we meet you, sir?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Rotarian Adewale Abdul. I'm a risk analyst, and I'm the brain behind Wales Footwears. Registered business in Nigeria. We've been in existence for the past 10 years. July 2012 precisely. Started as a side hustle and eventually taken to be one of the brands to be reckoned with in Lagos, Nigeria precisely.
Wow, that's very nice. What's the vision behind Wales Footwear?
Okay, there's so much passion with shoes as far back as that 2012, and I, of course, realized that a lot of people cannot actually afford the kind of shoes they would love to wear. And this idea of dollar exchange rate and all that has always been an issue. And we decided to say, okay, we have the largest leather producing state in Africa, not just in Nigeria, in Kano. And we have leathers all around. So why can't we just do something within Nigeria? Something that can be reckoned with, something that has quality, something that can be referred to as handmade in promoting local content in Nigeria. So we started in the streets of Shomolu, Bariga, Surulere precisely, at the larger end, and we were able to do some, wonders with leathers.
Wow. Okay, so footwears, when it comes to footwear, you source locally for all your materials, right?
Yes, please.
How is the process like? Is it a very tedious one or just smooth?
It has not been smooth. It's a very challenging journey. Bearing in mind that there are a lot of companies that produce leather that have folded up in Nigeria. It could be infrastructural issues, it could be economic, or even government regulations and the like. Policies. So a lot of them are actually out of business. And we have a very, very local source there in Mushin, Lagos, precisely. So when you get there, you'll be marveled at what you see. We cannot go all the way at heavy production to Kano, for instance. So we have some people that move it around the whole of Nigeria.
And we get good leathers.
Very good leathers. Your money determines the quality of what you're getting. So sometimes the same production may take a different sense of the quality of the leathers you're using. So it has not been smooth, but then I think in the last 5 years, we had some kind of stability.
Okay, so personally, I have interest in leather because I love leather, animal skin, and the likes. Is there any way that you can actually, as a consumer, is there any way I can determine the quality or the grade of leather?
Yeah, sure. Even at the point of marketing, when you display some shoes and they say, okay, this will go for 30,000 naira, this will go for 20,000 naira. With the cost, the magnitude of the cost, you could tell the kind of quality.
The quality.
Yes, so if you want a shoe of 15,000, you can get it.
Wow.
If you want a shoe of 10,000, you can get it. You can also get a shoe of 40,000. So the quality also determines
and then the other accessories that you'll be using, the sole, and then I think buckles.
The buckles, the tassel, you still have to play around with the accessories. And of course, there are cheap, poor quality accessories, and they are also very top-notch.
Okay, so far, how has the journey been like, sir?
Well, there's this book I read sometime that thought about you feeling fast, you feeling forward, which is most important. The business almost died in about 3 years after, that was about 2015, thereabout. Now families and friends would say, okay, yeah, sell this for me, and I'll see you at the end of the month, I'll pay you. And of course, you want to do business. You wouldn't mind, probably because of the trust reposed on those people or your relationship. And as such, people buy and find it difficult to pay back. So that is one of the issues. You have to be rest assured that you don't just look at the profit. You ensure that you want to break even, especially ensuring your capital is intact at the end of the day. So to a large extent, we got discouraged in between. Nigerians not trusting locally made materials, Nigerians not trusting a brand that is not known in the public, Nigerians not even respecting the kind of quality of leathers that can be produced here in Nigeria. So everybody's looking at Italian products, everybody's looking at the ones from Paris, everyone is waiting for the French shoes and the likes. So you have to do quite a lot to get the attention, one. You have to do a lot to benchmark your products with those, because before now, we used to assume that your quality is as determined by you, the producer. That is not the case in 21st century. Quality is determined by the consumers. Quality is determined by who is buying. So when you request for a shoe of, say, 25,000 naira, and I deliver after a while, and what you want to do as a consumer is to compare my handmade shoe with an Italian product. A foreign product. So you want to compare a pair of shoe that you bought for 45,000 naira with what you are buying here for 20,000 naira, bearing in mind that they have the sophisticated machines required in the production, and you using your handmade, your scissors, your gum, the filing machine that is still manual, and the like. So at some point you want to say, oh, this is not a fair comparison, but
Sure.
That is not the customer's perspective. So you need to reach out and present something that you know can actually benchmark and stand the test of time in terms of quality, in terms of finesse, in terms of finishing, in terms of, by all standard as a customer would want to assume.
So in your industry, sir, between 10 years ago, let's say 10 years ago and now, have you seen any improvement in shoemaking in Nigeria?
Yes, quite a lot. And this, I would say, far back as 2017, we started realizing as Nigerians that instead of you pushing up your hard-earned funds abroad to import shoes, you can actually get some very good shoes here in Nigeria, and you spend less, and you still get the quality that you actually want. So I would say immediately after the COVID-19 pandemic, say 2020 and 2020, so we experienced that most people now have some level of trust
in
Nigerian made products, shoes precisely. And the aspect of the exchange rate has also forced some people to come to Nigeria and say, okay,
dollars now prefer to buy naira.
Exactly. So you want to do the comparison, you look at the exchange rate, you look at the stress involved in even shipping your product from abroad, and okay, let's give it a try, let's see how it goes, and we'll do one. Of course, we learn in the process. We have a lot of rejections, we have a lot of destructions of your right in your presence. A customer can say, is this a shoe, or what do you call this, and they start pulling it, and you don't want to get depressed and say, okay, you still say sorry, and you find a way
to improve
and
satisfy the customer.
Of course. So that is learning in the process, excuse me. So when you learn in the process, you tend to be better at it because you do it almost every time. So consistency, I would say, has given us that edge. And we're not there yet, and we're just making efforts to get to that level. But of course, we are much better
than
compared
you
to
were before.
Yes,
okay, so
better.
sir, where do you see the shoe industry in Nigeria in the nearest future? Like in the future, where do you see this industry?
I feel to a large extent the optimism is high. Even neighboring African countries now come to Nigeria to come and get our leathers.
Wow.
And I can say authoritatively from start that African countries still look up to Kano here in Nigeria to get their quality leathers. And I feel the what they call it now, the encouragement from government, I think, is much better now. We now have this ease of doing business in Nigeria that has given most people that confidence to say that I can actually put fund into this, I can actually invest into this, get people that are on ground, apply the skills and scale it.
Wow.
So I think we are going further than we can imagine.
And you're very optimistic about the
Very
growth.
optimistic. At least I have my products going out of the country now.
Wow.
We have some loyal customers in Nairobi, Kenya. We have in South Africa. We have a few in Canada and US that would say, okay, so person is coming. I want to select this product. Can they make the production and get it delivered at a time? And when they get there, they do videos. I mean, most of our customers now are true referrals. And that is usually the best way of actually getting more customers. So the loyalty game is, getting up there as we wish.
Okay, so one last question before we go on a break. Have you been able to leverage on social media for your business?
Thank you. So far, I do not have a physical showroom for my products. And social media, for me, is one of the best things that has happened to my business.
Wow.
What we do is get the products, get the specification for customers. I still do a whole lot of pay before delivery.
Okay.
So customers or potential customers make an order, make payment, give me that specification. We go ahead for the production. We give them a time frame, 15 working days, 10 working days.
Depending on the style of shoe.
God bless you, the design and the kind of leather would also determine, because some we don't have to, after piling, you still need to leave it for a while to steam up before you go into the final production.
Oh, okay, so there's a time phrase for leather work as well.
Yes,
oh, okay.
yes. So if you rush into it, you will eventually have a product that does not meet the standard. So when you are doing your quality check, you want to be sure that it meets the standard, at least at the pace of what you want to produce.
Wow, that's interesting.
So social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, we share our products and we get feedbacks, we get comments. People reach out to us based on what to.
What's your handle?
So Wales Footwears _
Okay.
Wales _ Wales Footwear, sorry. That's for the Wales _ Wales Footwear, under Footwears.
Okay.
Wales _ Footwears for Instagram. On Facebook is Wales Footwears Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
And on Twitter, the same thing at Wales Footwears 2014.
Okay.
So we have these, and we can always reach out to our customer. We have the website for our products.
Oh, you have a website?
Yes, I have a website.
So people can add to carts,
yes,
shop, and
yes, you can.
smoothly?
Yeah, smoothly.
That's interesting.
It's an e-commerce site.
Okay.
So you can reach out there, pick an item or make a selection or make a specification, because we also do customized shoes. We produce shoes for kings, for chiefs, and you want your name to be written, you want your title to be written on your shoes.
Or just the letter.
Or just the letter. So we customize shoes. We build it, we get specification. We do as much as building size 48, 49 for the big foods.
For big foods?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so we need to go on a quick break, and then we'll be right back to discuss further with Adewale Abdul about the shoe industry in Nigeria. Thank you. Okay, sir. So before we went on the break, we were discussing about your business, the shoe industry, and all of that. So, okay, let's just feel a bit more relaxed now. We would like to know some personal things about you. What the general public don't know, what some of your customers don't even know about you, like, your hobbies, what you do at your leisure time, and all of that.
All right. Thank you. I'm a Rotarian. I'm a past president of Rotary Club of Yaba Courtview, District 9110, Nigeria. And I like serving humanity. I like putting smiles on people's face. I like doing things that will make other people happy. That is one of the reasons why I joined Rotary. And currently, I am the Assistant District Secretary of Rotary District 910, Lagos, Nigeria. And I like football. I'm a social thinker. I like discussing politics objectively. You
actually look like a politician.
I am not one. And sports, yes. I like wrestling too. I like catching fun, movies, things just to give me peace, happiness.
So you're not the workaholic
kind
of person?
No. I'm a social animal.
Try to balance.
Yeah, balance it. And you work and of course you play. And I'm a free person. I like going to parties. I anchor events, like I do MC. Wedding receptions, conferences, investiture, anything. So I handle microphone a lot.
Nice.
So it's either I'm working in the workshop or I'm on stage
Wow.
doing what I like to do. So beyond being paid, it's also part of my hobby. I like talking.
Okay, so you are in Rotary, right?
Yes.
So it means, like you said, you like doing stuffs for humanity. Can you tell us one or two things about some of your projects that you have actually done in your community?
Okay. Yes. During my tenure as the president of Rotary Club of Yaba Codville, there was a school around us in Yaba, Burial Senior Avenue Secondary School. We noticed that the school has an open heaven, like a two-story building, no pan, no ceiling. So when rain falls, when sun shines so bright, it gets directly on the students. And of course, as part of what we do, is to put funds together, generate money amongst ourselves, and think of what to do. So we actually renovated that building into a shape that is, will be appreciated by anyone. Did the ceiling, did the pan, provided windows for all the classes, about 32 classrooms.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And was a star project for the year. Painted the whole building and made provisions for benches and all that. And there are also other less privileged homes around. There's a particular one called the Magnificent Therapy Home around Saboyaba. That's for homes for children with disabilities. So we visit often, making provision for food items, toiletries, and all sorts of household items. Then there is a community in Saboyaba called the Makoko community.
Makoko, yeah.
Yes, that's a place where there is no amount of items to take there that will be enough. So you have to go there often to make people happy. We still did one recently, prior to Christmas, just to make people happy, and a couple of others that we cannot mention.
So Rotary Club is not just about hanging out, taking pictures. They actually do stuff for their community.
Yes. The essence of Rotary is to actually serve humanity, making people happy. The fun part is just to, give out and be happy with it. Like when you're happy doing something, we have to add a part of it, not just giving out, but something we'll call like a cheerful giver. Be happy with what you do. So basic roles of any Rotary Club is to actually help your immediate community. Of course, you need to do a need assessment. What do they need in this environment? Is it water? Is it, do they need food? Is it clothing materials? Or shelter? So there are 7 areas of focus. There are some there is a particular one that has to do with basic education and literacy.
Interesting.
There is a particular segment that talks about community development, like empowering people. Market women that needs money, like 50K, 100,000, 200,000 to start a business, and of course they'll be better at it. We do that. Is it about community health? We do one every year in every October, where we come to a particular location, get a base, provide them with some drugs. They do medical tests, all forms of medical tests for free.
Wow.
And they get drugs. Some that need referral will be referred. We'll do surgery for free. The one that needs to be traveled abroad, all for free, handled by Rotary, by individuals that put their funds together.
So is it Rotary Club in your zone, or is it like that nationally?
That is, Rotary is a global organization.
Okay.
It's Rotary International. And there are districts all over the world.
Okay.
So the one I fall under is Rotary District 9110. 9110 covers both Lagos and Ogun State. So there are clubs in various communities that forms that district. Then the district also forms the global community.
Wow.
So Rotary is about over 2.5 million people all over the world. So
members?
Yes, members all over the world, anywhere you are.
Wow,
so there is always a Rotary Club in any location.
To know that. So joining it, is it like you have to pay?
Yes.
Or you have to meet a certain criteria?
Of course, you must have something that fetch you fund, like where you have a place where you get fund from, like a paid job or a business, legal business.
A legal source
business.
of income.
Income has to be there. Then you have to be willing to actually serve your humanity.
Okay.
You want to serve your community. So, of course, before you join, a set of assessments will be done on you to be sure that you actually meet the ethical standard of Rotary International.
Wow.
So once you do that, you associate yourself with a club in your community and tell them, I want to join. You can actually Google club in any community. They will tell you there's a Rotary club in so place. There's another club in. So you pick one that is either closer to your home or your office or your business location, depending. And of course, there's an annual due, which forms part of what we put together to do stuff.
To execute all these projects.
All these projects, yes. So every year there's a new president. You cannot start more than a year. And you must have your set of projects that you want to do for that year.
As a president?
As a president, as a club.
Okay, so when you were the president, the school renovation and all of that was your own personal project?
Was part of my project for that year. That was in 2019, 2020.
Now, it's interesting to know all of this, actually. Okay, so back to what we were discussing earlier. Running a brand in Nigeria, we all know that it's not easy. And not just in Nigeria, anywhere in the world, running your business can never be easy. So what is the major challenge that you actually face as a business owner?
Well, Nigeria is a peculiar country. Very peculiar. What you take here is not the same as what you see in other countries. And this is Lagos. You just have to keep pushing. Challenges will come, but how you handle it matters most. You want the business to die, or you want to sustain it. Like I said, there was a time we actually failed, and we didn't do anything for like a year, close to a year, until my mentor just, what are you doing? What other things do you do apart from being a risk analyst? Don't you have a side hustle? And I said, yes, I started one in 2012. And it was like, so, what's up? And I started all the challenges of Lagos, people in Lagos, and he said, you only find excuse for what you don't want to get done.
True.
You find a way for what you feel you want to achieve. So I picked it up again, and we got better at it. So challenges will come. We've mentioned some earlier regarding government regulations, policies, yes. Others with, you have to target your audience. When I was doing that then, I didn't actually segment my audience.
You were not targeting
the right audience. The right audience. So are we looking at low-income earners? Are we looking at middle-income earners? Are we looking at high-income earners? That's one. Another thing is, are we looking at corporate individuals or a proper business person? Am I doing males only, or am I doing females? Am I doing children? So I started with everything. Then at some point, I had to limit to males, adults, because that is where the market is after sampling, the range. Then at some point, people started asking for foreign shoes. Okay, yes, we like this, that, but then don't you have sneakers? Can't you get sneakers from Nike? Do you have this product? Do you have Air? Do you have Adidas?
How were you able to manage that request?
Far back as 2019, I had to go into importation of sneakers.
Okay.
For both male and female. So we started that, and we were able to break into some markets that we were not, serving before there. So diversification is allowed, flexibility is also, so we have to just be dynamic to meet your customers' needs.
Wow,
and that's
interesting. Like you had to diversify by bringing in sneakers.
Sneakers, yeah, foreign sneakers.
And it didn't create any sort of competition for your own shoes?
No. People that will go for your real leather will still do your real leather. And people
that wanted sneakers
so
will still go for
a family of 4 can order 3 pairs of shoes, locally made leathers, and say, okay, please, I also want sneakers for my kids.
Oh, okay. And then they'll just add that.
They'll just add that, and we'll add your margin and you move on.
Okay, so before we actually wrap up the show, you mentioned something earlier about diversification. Okay, so can you give us more insight about it? Something that is applicable to other businesses as well, aside from shoemaking.
Okay, in business, you don't come out rigid. You don't come out fixed, like this is what I want to do. Your mindset has to be dynamic enough to be able to understand your market. You must be able to understand or even preempt your consumers. When they make a requisition for something that you don't have, you need to start looking at the possibility of even, doing other things that were not in your plans, if there is need. So every business person is supposed to be dynamic in their thinking.
And
of course,
proactive as
you
well.
have to be proactive. You have to be thinking. In the course of doing business, other things may crop up, and you just have to find a way to be able to adapt to those needs. So, like I said, we learn through the process. We learn by doing. And learning by doing would make you see a wide range of other opportunities. So you don't close your eyes to opportunities. I'm a risk person. As in the 21st century, you don't just look at risk, the negative part of everything. As you are looking at the negative part of some things, you also have to consider the possibility of opportunities in those risks identified. So as you are doing business, somehow, somewhat, you are doing some level of market evaluation. Analysis in between. Is this is not working well? How else can I tweak it? What best can I do? If this person wants it, that means there are still other 10 people or 100 people that also want the same. Who say I cannot do this into what I'm doing? So, but of course, you know your focus. So that standard set by yourself can always be reviewed. So from time to time, you must review where you are going. The same way you have strategies, and if the strategy is not working well, there is need for you to go back to drawing board.
And then re-strategize.
Do you get it?
Okay, thank you very much. You've actually done justice to that question. So, wrapping up the show, sir, what advice do you have to give to upcoming entrepreneurs, like people that want to start this business? What advice do you have to give to them? Because you have like 10 years experience so far. So, what
okay,
would you like to do?
I'm a baby in the business.
No, you're not. You're not a baby.
So, I would just say, you do not need to procrastinate when you want to start a business.
Procrastination.
Don't say that, okay, I'll start next year, or I'll do that. I'm not ready for this now. Of course, you have to be ready. Passion is not enough. Passion is good to start a business. Passion is not enough. It will not take you beyond that level. And when you start with that passion, yes, it gives you an edge to be able to do something. But on the long run, you really need to understand the tenets of that business. You must go nitty-gritty. You must be able to understand what are the hidden traps in that business. You don't just dabble into a business. You do your research. You start with your circle of influence first. Who do you know? Who are your friends? I have as many WhatsApp groups as possible. Do they know you in those WhatsApp groups? Do they know you for what you do? Do you actually advertise to the extent that they know that if I need a pair of shoes today, this is the person to call? Sometimes you don't wait to say, okay, I'm doing this business at this moment and I expect it to just peak. It has to be gradual. You have to be consistent. You need to be known for what you stand for. You sell shoes and friends or colleagues don't even know that you do. Then who are you reaching out to? If those closer to you are not even aware of what you do. So your circle of influence is very key. Who are your friends? Who are your associates?
Your network.
Your network is indeed, because that is where you're going to start from. People that don't trust your brand or don't know you may not buy from you.
When you're just starting.
When you're just starting. So you start with people that are closer to you. Then at the same time, you don't stop that business, because definitely you are going to encounter some level of challenges in the business. So you don't let them outweigh you. You learn by those challenges, and whenever you fall, you have to rise above the level you were before you fell. So that way you keep pushing, you make some sacrifices. There are times you are going to make losses, and there are times that you're just going to boom, like
make profits beyond your expectations.
That is it. So when you make those losses, it's part of the business. You don't prepare a business proposal and for the first 3 years you're already counting profit. It's not going to last. When you start the business, there are tendencies, depending on the kind of business, there are tendencies that you are going to make some losses at inception. then over time you'll be able to scale up that business to be better at it. So people do not want to make those sacrifices again. Everybody wants sharp money. It doesn't come that fast. You're not doing Yahoo now. It doesn't come that fast. You have to do some level of hard work. Very, very key. The hard work would have to start the job for you. And your consistency with it, your tenacity in that business would actually tell you how far or fast you want to grow.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. You've done justice to this. Thank you so much. It's nice to have you on the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, guys, it's a wrap today on the TOD show, and it's an awesome interview with Adewale Aziz. And the take home for me personally is that in any business that you want to do not procrastinate. And you should also know that passion is not enough. You need to do beyond that and leverage on your circle of influence and also consistency. Thank you very much for staying tuned to watch the TOD show. I remain your host, Abayomi Odunola. Join me next time on the same channel. Thank you.